In a move that has reignited intense debates over workplace policies, government efficiency, and employee rights, President Donald Trump signed an executive order in January 2025 that effectively put an end to remote work for federal employees. The order mandated that all executive branch departments and agencies take all necessary steps to terminate remote work arrangements and require employees to return to work in person at their respective duty stations on a full-time basis. With this sweeping directive, the federal workforce, which had seen a major shift toward remote operations in recent years, was suddenly thrust back into a pre-pandemic model of in-office work. The order has since sparked heated discussions, with supporters applauding the return to traditional office culture while opponents decry it as an unnecessary and even harmful rollback of progress made in workplace flexibility. To fully grasp the impact of this decision, it is essential to examine the historical context of remote work in the federal government. Telework, or working remotely, has been a part of federal employment for years, but it gained unprecedented importance and visibility during the COVID-19 pandemic that began in 2020. As the virus spread rapidly across the globe, businesses and governments scrambled to find ways to maintain operations while minimizing physical interactions to prevent further outbreaks. Remote work quickly became the norm for millions of employees, including those in the federal workforce, as agencies sought to adapt to the new reality while ensuring the continuity of essential government services. The shift was initially seen as a temporary emergency measure, but as months passed, it became clear that telework was not only feasible but, in many cases, highly effective. Federal employees who transitioned to remote work during the pandemic found that they were able to perform their duties efficiently from home. Studies conducted by various agencies and independent research organizations revealed that, contrary to initial concerns, productivity levels remained stable or even improved in some cases. Employees saved hours previously spent commuting, allowing them to start their workdays earlier and maintain better focus. Many reported improved job satisfaction, citing greater flexibility in managing personal and professional responsibilities. Additionally, agencies benefited from reduced costs associated with maintaining office spaces, including expenses related to utilities, security, and infrastructure. Over time, the advantages of remote work led to broader discussions about making telework a permanent, or at least a semi-permanent option for federal employees. Some agencies implemented hybrid models, allowing employees to work from home on certain days while coming into the office when necessary. The approach was viewed as a win-win solution. It preserved the benefits of remote work while maintaining some level of in-person interaction for meetings and collaboration. It also aligned with global trends, as many private sector companies embraced similar hybrid work arrangements, recognizing that a rigid, one-size-fits-all approach to employment was no longer necessary or practical in a digital age. However, not everyone was convinced that remote work was the best path forward. Critics of telework, including some policymakers and business leaders, raised concerns about oversight, accountability, and the potential for decreased productivity. They argued that without direct supervision, some employees might not be as engaged or disciplined in their work. Skeptics also pointed to potential security risks, emphasizing that sensitive government data might be more vulnerable to cyber threats outside controlled office environments. Another major point of contention was the impact on office culture and collaboration. Some officials believed that in-person interactions played a crucial role in fostering teamwork, innovation, and mentorship opportunities for younger employees. They contended that long-term remote work could erode the sense of unity within agencies and weaken organizational structures. President Trump has been vocal in his skepticism toward remote work for years, often expressing doubts about its effectiveness. His latest executive order reflects his firm stance on the matter, as he has repeatedly emphasized the need for a strong and disciplined workforce. In one of his statements regarding telework, he remarked, "They're going to play tennis, they're going to play golf. They're going to do a lot of things. They're not working." This statement suggests that he views remote work as an opportunity for employees to slack off rather than fulfill their responsibilities. His perspective aligns with a more traditional view of employment, in which physical presence in an office setting is equated with accountability and productivity. With this order now in effect, all federal employees who had been working remotely are required to return to their respective offices full-time. The only exceptions will be at the discretion of department and agency heads, who may grant limited telework arrangements under special circumstances. This means that employees who had become accustomed to the flexibility of remote work must now readjust to daily commutes, fixed office hours, and the traditional work environment. The abrupt nature of this transition has raised concerns among federal workers and labor unions, who argue that the decision fails to take into account the well-documented benefits of telework. One of the primary concerns voiced by opponents of the executive order is the potential impact on employee well-being. Many workers had structured their lives around the assumption that remote or hybrid work would continue, making adjustments in housing, childcare, and daily routines accordingly. Forcing a sudden return to the office could disrupt these arrangements, leading to increased stress and dissatisfaction among employees. Furthermore, the health risks associated with returning to crowded office spaces cannot be ignored. While the immediate threat of COVID-19 has diminished compared to its peak years, the virus continues to evolve, and new variants periodically emerge. Employees with underlying health conditions or those living with vulnerable family members may feel uneasy about being required to work in close quarters with colleagues. Another major challenge is the logistical aspect of this transition. Some federal agencies had already downsized their office spaces, anticipating that telework would remain a long-term option. With employees now being called back to the office full-time, there may be issues with office capacity, workstation availability, and overall workplace infrastructure. Additionally, in major metropolitan areas where federal offices are concentrated, public transportation systems may struggle to accommodate the sudden influx of daily commuters. Traffic congestion, longer commute times, and increased transportation costs are all potential consequences of this shift. What are your thoughts on this policy change? Do you believe remote work is beneficial, or do you agree with the move to bring employees back to the office? How do you think this will affect both federal workers and the general workforce in the long run? Share your thoughts in the comments below, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit the notification bell so you never miss an update on crucial topics like this.